Alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D Real coming at you with another Be Real with D Real, where Edutainment explains it. Up in the corner, you see it. 40 years ago, in 1984, there was a little story put together by Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck, and Bob Layton called Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars. There have been two other stories that have held that nomenclature, but I'm here to tell you folks today,
there can be only
one Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, one Secret Wars. We gonna get into what that is, but before we do, we need to do what we need to do so we can do what we want to do. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D Real page so that when the material comes out, you get it. If you're digging what a brother shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Why? Edutainment. Edutainment. What I do. 40 years ago, 1984, that would have put me in my junior year of high school. And a brother by the name of David Jameson, who also collected comic books, because back in them days, we had to stick together because a nerd was a nerd was a nerd was a nerd, right? I wasn't worried about it though. Y'all wanted to put hands on me, let's go. Anyways, he said, have you heard about the comic book that they got coming out this summer called Secret Wars? It's got the Avengers in it. Okay, I like me some Avengers. It's got the Fantastic Four in it. I like the thing. It's got X-Men in it. Okay, X-Men, 80s. Oh, they super hot. Yeah, anything with X-Men rocking. And the Hulk. What? The Hulk too? Oh my goodness. And imagine my shock and delight to see this comic book in the store, on the rack, on the spinning rack. You talk about somebody lost a natural mind. That right there, bruh, that was my whole maxim about comic books. I collected X-Men. I collected Fantastic Four. I collected Avengers. I was all about that more bang for your buck type thing. Now, here go the premise. Oops, I'm sorry. That's not the premise. This is the premise. These superheroes are gathered together in a structure in Central Park, and they are told by a cosmic being, I am from beyond. Slay your enemies, and all that you desire shall be yours. Nothing you dream of is impossible for me to accomplish. Okay, you got Magneto on the inside, and on the outside was Galactus. There was a similar facility with villains, and they had a pretty nasty lineup too. That's what you had on the villain end. Okay, and then they were considering, Galactus as a villainous threat. So Galactus was going to try to handle the situation by handling the Beyonder, and Dr. Doom was like, okay, I'm with you. They both got knocked out to action early. Galactus was incapacitated. Doom was not. Doom went to go gather the superheroes together, and Kang had already got that idea ahead of him and kicked his butt out the group. But luckily for the superheroes, Dr. Doom and Magneto, who was with the heroes but later on left, they had adequate food, they had adequate technology, they had adequate weapons and facilities on this piecemealed planet that the Beyonder, that was what we called him, put together using pieces and chunks of different planets. Some of those pieces and chunks of planets included a suburb of Colorado, or Denver to be specific. So keep that in mind when you operating. Now, When they all touched down on the planet, squared off, villains gave it to them, pretty badly. But they was able to bounce back after some losses, because the X-Men decided, okay, we're gonna separate from the group because y'all don't really trust us anyway. And since the X-Men separated from the group, Magneto like, ain't no reason for me to stay with the group because ain't no more mutants here. And so they separated to another part of the facility. They just wasn't like we leaving, but didn't nobody know what was going on. So around about issue 3, they sent Spider-Man to spy on the X-Men. That's kind of what happened in the book too. Spider-Man, and this is why people love Spider-Man so much. Spider-Man ain't that strong. Spider-Man ain't that fast, but he's the strongest when he needs to be and the fastest when he needs to be. Does that about make sense? That's all I can use to explain Spider-Man mopping the floor with the X-Men. However, though, he was getting ready to go tell, oh, the X-Men getting ready to leave. Y'all getting ready to join up with Magneto. I'm going to go tell it. Professor X don't like the white people's minds, but he did that to Spider-Man. So speaking of Spider-Man, this is the first time we saw this. Yeah. And that book is worth some money. Let me tell you. That one and Spider-Man number 252, where we actually saw it first. It occurred here in comic chronology first, but we saw Spider-Man 252 first. Something to bear in mind. Which one has more value? Secret Wars number 8 or Spider-Man number 252? You look it up and you tell me. But anyways, there was a lot of fighting going on. When they kicked Dr. Doom out of their little group, Dr. Doom said, oh, I can't have no villains? That's all right. I'll make me some. And through his technology, well, not his technology, but the technology he stumbled across, he was able to create the super villains Titania and Volcana. Not to mention, he already had the Molecule Man on his squad. And when they had Titania and Volcana and went back to fight the heroes, it was a whole different ball of wax. Not only did they beat him up, the Molecule Man was able to drop a mountain on him. A mountain. Hulk was able to brace himself up against this mountain and keep them from getting crushed. And before he would just give in and fall down, Reed Richards was teasing him and talking about him and calling him a dumbass, which was making him angrier. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, if Hulk was so mad, why didn't he just let go and go try to grab Reed Richards? That would have really killed him. But I guess because he's a combination of the Savage Hulk and Bruce Banner, Bruce Banner's thought processes are still in there, so he don't go nuts. But after Secret Wars, he did. We had issue 300 where we dealt with a mindless Savage Hulk, and he was beating the daylights out of everybody in the Marvel Universe, and they ended up having to send him to another dimension, courtesy of Doctor Strange. Anyway, when the heroes came, when the villains layer got attacked, it was a whole different ball of wax. Titania was ready for it. Titania was handling her. And then these other villains, I think this is the first time we've seen a super villain dog pile in comics, and they were just like, yeah. My goodness. She get hit in the face with a crowbar, wrecking ball, tentacles, shrapnel, big hand. They was giving it to her, bro. And I'm telling you, Secret Wars was a war. Okay, like I said, a lot of famous first. You saw Titania for the first time. You saw Volcana for the first time. You saw the Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman for the first time. And Julia Carpenter ended up joining the West Coast Avengers. Julia Carpenter ended up being on the Iron Man cartoon in the 90s. So Julia Carpenter ended up being in Madam Web. Goodness. Moving on. Ultimately, Dr. Doom, as he always does, ended up seizing ultimate power. And when he seized ultimate power, he gave the heroes an ultimatum. Y'all can serve me or y'all can be destroyed. They didn't serve him, and so Dr. Doom destroyed him. But through a lot of cosmic circumstance and some screwing around by Claw, the heroes were able to be resurrected because Doom didn't have full control over the Beyonder's power, and they didn't give him the opportunity to. And then a side effect of that power was when the Beyonder relinquished it from him, there was like this permeation of nothing you dream of is impossible for you to accomplish on this planet. And so the Thing was able to gain the ability to transform back and forth at will, to the point where he was like, you know what, Reed? I'm going to stay here for a little while because I'm enjoying the hell out of being Ben Grimm. Captain America's shield got destroyed in the process. You know, that's what he wished back for. You know, and so there were a lot of other things going on. Meanwhile, what happened with the villains after they got beat up? The Molecule Man took that suburb of Denver, Colorado, and took it back to Earth. Wow. Beyonder, Molecule Man, Galactus, a lot of power was going on in that series. Also, too, the popularity of this comic book. How popular was this comic book? This comic book, if I'm not mistaken, all 12 months it got released, it was #1 in sales. I could be wrong. Y'all check Comic Chrome or Comic Tech or whatever those are. I believe it was and if it wasn't #1, it was damn sure in the top 5 every month for a full year. So how much impact did it have? Toys, action figures. They even mentioned it on the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s, like 10 years later. They tweaked it a little bit, but it was an event like no other. Alex Ross immortalized it. You know you're doing things when Alex Ross immortalizes you. Especially that. And I have that print too. I've got a print of that, like poster size. I haven't even put it up. Shame on me. So popular was Secret Wars that about a year or two later, we got Secret Wars 2. Bruh. The popularity of Secret Wars and the Beyonder was off the chain, off the Richter. This is what the Beyonder looked like. And then for some reason, strange reason, the Beyonder thought, based on what he's seen superheroes in on Earth, this was a cool superhero outfit. Yeah. Anyway, Beyonder. And that essentially, there's a lot more to explain, but you need to go and pick up either the Marvel Superhero Secret Wars trade paperback or the 12-issue series of Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars. It was lit. And there can only be one. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars. Go check out that Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. I mean, I get it. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars had God Doom, had T'Challa wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. But if you gonna ask me what my Secret Wars is, Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck, Bob Layton. That's my Secret Wars. We can argue about it if you want to, but my results always going to be the same.
There can be only one.
That's it for now, y'all. But fret not, I will be coming at you with another one of the other ones. And until then, yep, y'all be good. Be good to each other.